LP raised very important questions here, likewise, Mr. Jobate. But I'll start with that of LP, where he talked about, multi-party democracy in Africa. If you look at multi-party system in Africa, it is more of a tribal organization sort of, where Africans form parties, they lean their political parties towards their tribe. So you will see tribesmen grouping in a name of a political party, vote for their tribesmen, you understand, support their tribe agenda, which is not good for Africa. Looking at China, for instance, China's aid. Look at the conference center in Bigilo. They build the conference center. Up till today, you have Chinese working there. Everything in that conference center is controlled by the Chinese. The wiring, the electricity, the Wi-Fi system, everything. Some will even argue that China is even seeing everything that is happening in the Gambia here. And recently, how the Chinese are now colonizing our mind, taking our resources, is look at the $34 million that they approved for a mayor fence. Is it 64 million for a fence? This is what you call mental colonialism. What type of fence would that be? So we need to decolonize our mind. Mr. Jobade asked you questions here, but no one answered it. He said, one, how many of you here know the name of the village that you come from, how it came about? Some of you are from Busumbala, right? How did the name Busumbala came about? There was this man from Sanyang who had a quarrel with his wife and they divorced. Then the queen in Sanyang asked him to leave. He left and came to the present day where Busumbala is. Then it was not a settlement, it was a jungle. So the man resided there. But before Busumbala, Yundum was already established. So you have these Bojans who were from Brikama. Some of them settled because it's the same family. Some of them settled at Yundum. And they also have hunters. So one of the hunters who left Yundum went to present-day Busumbala, Wulinkama, where they call Buigi. He met this man with his 4 kids and asked him, why are you sitting here with these kids? He responded that I had an issue, I had divorced my wife, and the queen of Sanyang expelled me from the village. So I have to come and establish my own settlement. Then the hunters told him that, but how can you survive here with these 4 kids? He said, anyway, I don't want to move from here because I don't want to go to another settlement and I am driven away again. So I want to establish my own village. So the hunters concluded by telling him that if you are not willing to leave this place, what we can do is anytime we are going on a hunting expedition, we will bring food for your kids. So ni danol kabo yundum, ikata de mola, ni nata fo ni ka finti yundum. Mol ke nyininka adol kata de mola ni domoro kata muna nal kawoke. Eko eka foyo ko kendin dole be siri ngulo kono. Wala Busumbala be damin bi. Wala ya dingol busi bala kabo Sanyang anata sita o ulo kono. So ibajela ni ni danol kabo yundum ikata wodula ikafo kon kata Busumbala ya wolon kewo mi ya dingol busi ibala. So ka sotendi ikafo kon kata Busumbala. Ni nata Kiang Jenyeri, for instance, Kiang Jenyeri. You know there is a village in Kiang called Jenyeri. When the Sanes from Kabu left Kabu after the fall of Kabu Empire, when the Sanes left Kabu, ila morol koyoko, Allah sidula nal botajam, albe sila dami, etaman serol dila, abekela badalal, and wo badala nyewol le bije je nyeringol le bije manika kawre ka ko me nyeringol so moro ko nal sitat albe sila dulami yalon ko bale bije and wo bañi ñewol be faari jele tep so ko je ñeeri wolo ñeeringol bije Sukuta Sabiji. The founders of Sukuta, the first name of Sukuta was Sabiji. It was founded by the Cham Sonim, and his name was Amulai Demba Cham. He was from Tuba, that is present day in Futa Toro, migrated and came to Yundum. But the Soninkes of Yundum did not allow him to settle there because he was a Muslim. Ekaya ko ite sino la jam because ni sita jabe mol la mol tubindila. Ekaya ko be keno dilela. Itata e keno di ala bari kay ne ko ibe sila damin ala morol kay ko ibe sila damin tama sero muminti sale beje. So wo sabe damin ibe albe sabat la wodo wo sate fenkelalla. So e baji la mi sabiji kol kabone ya itata dulalto mol ka fo e ko sale e ka fo sabiji. So e ko sabiji. The British Sabiji was later destroyed during the Anglo-French during the Sabiji conflict. You know, there was a conflict in Sabiji in which 2 British traders were kidnapped by the marabouts of Sabiji. Sabiji was attacked by the British and it was destroyed. Bria Sabiji destroyed, Mol Minbesirin Sabiji, all on the Cham, the Jatas and the Bojang, it moved a little bit from Sabiji, Itata, to a place called Kakoli Kunda. That is today called Kololi. Kololi was founded by Kakoli. I hope you are getting the message. So it's it again. Bari dol nata foko na dula min lo fonse murunje. Al ngata nga dula do lo. So itata e dula lo eko je Sukuta mandika kangoto. Wolong dula mi yalong ko dula kutolong eko je Sukuta. So these are things that you need to learn and know. Farato was not Farato. Jamburun kol mine Farato kol Sindi. Wolle ka jan rifato as Fara ngata Farato. Mandika kangoto Fara. Ekafon kata Fara Nino Lankata Farato. So that's how the name Farato was originally Madina Suare Kunda. That is the original name of Farato. Jamburun Kolka Yajan name Eko Jaye Farato. So these are things that we need to learn. It is not only mathematics, physics, chemistry. We have to learn our history so as to liberate our minds. And Mr. Jobade made this very, very clear. Use your mobile phone. Go and search about Kwame Nkrumah. Why was Kwame Nkrumah important in the history of Africa and in the formation of African unity, that is OAU? Although the initial aim and objective was to unite the continent, but that was not going to be possible because Africa was already divided. We were divided at a round table. You learned that in history that we were divided during the Berlin Conference of 1884-1885. Tubabol Damale Sita. There was no black man present in that gathering. They sat, drink their tea, discuss. After then, what came next was the division of Africa. That is partitioning. Africa was just partitioned like cake. This is why if you look at the shape of Africa, it is in fact shapeless. So we need to go and revisit our history. Decolonizing your mind means to be proud of who you are, what you are. But when it comes to multi-party democracy, it will not work. Once you bring it in the African context, people start grouping towards their what? Towards their own ethnic. And that will never work, even in the Gambian context. Ethnicity will never work here in politics. Today, I give you a scenario. If you are sick and you go to the hospital, it's a hospital, and you are a fuller. When you go and meet the nurse, you're not asking which ethnic extraction does he belong to. Will you? No. You will never ask that. Whether the nurse is a Zulu, Bantu, or a Papel, or a Hebrew from anywhere, what you are interested in is you want to be healed. So this is why you shouldn't allow anybody to come and colonize your mind when it comes to politics or even the grade 9, for instance. You are in grade 9. Most of you did not even choose Mindao because you have defeated yourself, what they call self-defeatism. You are told that Nusrat is the best school. We were students of this school. From Jambur School, I was among the first batch of students that Mr. Mendy admitted here. That was 2005. When I completed my grade 9, I had all the requirement to do science in Nusrat. But there was a headmaster here, senior master, who told me, look at your condition. Your parents cannot pay this fare. They cannot pay the school fees for you to go to Nusrat. Why not you continue here? But, you know, it was very difficult for me at the time to make that choice. But I decided to stay. Some of my friends, whose family were at least well off, went to Nusrat. And what they normally do is, ni jita Nusrat rek, ikana eka yai molla nying varandal to jam. Ninge jefo kumbo kamuta. But yeah, sometimes I feel kumbo la fauni all year in the Nusrat uniform with the Nusrat badge. But I was just patient. I continued the hard work. Until the day of our graduation, when we had the graduation ceremony here, I went home with more than 8 prizes. And when result was out, those who went to Nusrat came and they started congratulating us who stayed in Mindao. So you need to decolonize your mind. Your grade 6, your aggregate 6 rather, the aggregate 6 that we give you here is what you are taking to Nusrat. Newsrat is not producing aggregate 6, bringing it to Mindao. Mindao produce aggregate 6, and we make Newsrat a better school. And you leave the school that give you aggregate 6. So this is all about liberating your mind. Once your mind is liberated, you live a happy life. I will just conclude my speech by giving the kids a story because they have been seated for long. Fingintel lenene kulio soto. Bari la kulio ni e kulio soto wato wati. Minu manke fingintel di wolle katela fengol be domo. So e kulli ba soto. Finginte min fanka mayata finginte belti wolle e kulio soto. Bari jannin kulli lo be sila e fingintele mitingo komandi. E ko be min kela wolon. Foi se feng initiate min satina minu manke fingintele kanene la kulli dula. Because wolle kanela fengol be domo. Sa e mitingo soto agrita ko. Finkinte o finkinte min bina o kulidula weda mu musolti ba wala keo e nyanne ko ngoli la fa senea so kulilo fana mo finkinte kline be lola bundato wala be tar la mol inspector pour min satina ko ni manke finkinte ni me ko ngoli re balo ne manke finkinte so e kililo ndi bundato so momo na bundato min be lori jake mare ko ma naje ko be seneari a fo edum do fana na re ko be seneari a fo edum ken ni kilin nata o ma kumoli and wole ka tuta ala ila kulidulal wato wati birana ta bundaro finginte min be lorinje wo ya stop akaye ko e kata mindo akaye kata kulidula o kaye ko barite manyana na raja akaye muna na manyana na akaye hani manyana na raja boja atata lota karadento so abe lorinje abe korosirola aje ko minu be kana kulidula be kumol be ko dino liri so barate be damin lancer tabulu andan fa afana bela firin kata kulidula pour que la domorol be domo sa tada e muneke atada fa futata funjinte ma mimbe lorin bundado ala kurtol wura fa seneya a kumol lollon duma budatilindi san so afutata je funjinte mimbe bundado waya kungoma waya mose akaye he barite kungo fele seneyari akaye tonya no kumo be seneyari yen kungo linin kabolla mbeje fana Musa akaye he barike ite da wala tare akaye ha amanda wala fana finginde fana bulota Musa ba akaye barite nengo jamfata. Thank you very much. I end my speech here.
Thank you. We will have Mr.